In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a problem and a workaround for adding friends to a Facebook page. In a Facebook page, there is a section for adding friends. You can click on the See All button, and that brings a pop-up up with a list of friends that you may invite to a group. As you can see, currently most of my friends have been invited, but there are a few here, such as Descending Eagle and Cash, for example, that have not yet been invited. I can go ahead and click and invite those and then close. When I bring that window back up, one would expect to see that they have been invited, but instead, no, they have not been invited. I can click that again and see if that takes, but it does not always take. And as you can see again here, that's the case. It may be that later that status will be changed to invited, but often it takes a number of attempts to get that to work. And with a large number of friends, that can be very frustrating. I went through my list the first time inviting nearly 5,000 friends and almost got carpal tunneling syndrome. So since there is this problem with Facebook's ability to process on the back end these friend invitation requests, people have come up with a workaround, and I'm going to show that to you in a minute. Basically, I have some code that you can go into, and there's a note in my notes section on Martin Truther, how to invite all your friends to this page without getting carpal tunneling syndrome. I'm going to copy this JavaScript, actually not that JavaScript, because in this part of the page it has some embedded HTML formatting, but down here in this later comment you can just cut and paste directly without any problem. So it's those 4 lines. I hit Control C, and then I come back to the Martin Truther page and get ready to invite again. Let's see. There we go. There's the 417. I go See All. Now it's very important that you scroll down to the bottom of the list that pops up, so that all of the code will be in the underlying page. This JavaScript operates on the document object model, and for it to work, you have to have the document object model fully specified. So what I'm doing right now is I'm scrolling down, holding and moving the cursor. Sometimes that helps it move a little bit faster down, but the idea is to get the entire list in buffer. And by default, Facebook only shows the first screenful and waits for you to scroll lower before showing any more. So I'm just, as you can see, it's a lot of friends, and I'm just working to get down to the bottom. I think I have reached the bottom now. If I come up here, I click on that little down arrow, and indeed that's the case. Now if I hit, because I'm in Firefox, I want to hit Control-Shift-K to bring open the dialog box for JavaScript. And as you can see, that pops up at the bottom of the Firefox window here. And then down at this very bottom, there's 2 blue greater than symbols. That's the prompt. And I do a Control-V to paste that JavaScript code in there and hit return. This causes this section of JavaScript basically loops through all of the friends in the friends list, looking for ones that have invite buttons, and logically it simulates the pushing of all of those buttons to generate friend requests, invitations to like the page. So it takes a while to loop through a long list, and on my computer it dims the display to show that it's thinking about that the script is running and using up a lot of CPU at this point. So it takes maybe 10-20 seconds before it comes back. And then down at the bottom here in the output, we'll actually see the responses that come back from the internal commands. See one that has a single, the name single shows up, and there's can be several hundred or even thousands of those show up in the dialog box down here. And so now we can look up here and we can see all of the item friends who were not previously listed as invited or liked, but had invite buttons off to the side, are now listed as invited, or they soon will. We'll say invite sent, as these processing. There we go. It says invite sent, invite sent. And if I scroll up, it'll show, every one of those boxes basically has now been marked as invite sent without getting carpal tunneling syndrome. So I'm going to go ahead and say close and OK. Down here in the lower, there we see the page invite send single. Down here, that's basically for each one of those, it actually went through the step and invited that friend. Now it may not have taken. If we come back into the list and look to see how many of those friends are still listed as needing to be invited, there certainly are a few, but it does, and sometimes it takes a while to register that people have been invited. I sometimes like to come back and run this script, every few days, just to pick up people who might not have been processed. Like, it looks like these people did not actually get invited, but I would have to check back later just to be sure about that. But it seems that going through and occasionally re-inviting, and these are not all people who have declined to their invitations. Most of these are just somehow the request on the back end was dropped and not processed when it was initially sent. So that's the way to invite a large number of friends to a page on Facebook using Firefox. The solution for other browsers is in the note that I've got on my Martin Truther page. If you go into Notes and click on How to Invite All Your Friends, you can scroll down and see instructions for Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer. And again, don't use the cut and paste from the upper part here, because that cut and paste has embedded formatting, but instead come down in the comments and use the code here. There's one for pages and one for events, and then basically different instructions for accessing the JavaScript processing windows within each of these browsers. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for listening. Please rate and comment.